Welcome to the PEARRM Services YouTube channel. Please be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for weekly updates. Welcome to this week's topic, how the best leaders role model purpose-driven leadership with well-being as a focus. This week we'll talk about purpose-driven leadership, how the best leaders are role models for well-being, and the 3 ways in which these leaders do so. 1, aligning values. 2, engaging employees. 3, ensuring that their actions are impactful. I've shared over and over how the best leaders are role models and how they recognize that the role that they play is an important one, and that the employees and their peers are looking to them for guidance on how they should prioritize their time. This is no different as it relates to how leaders lead, because many employees aspire to be leaders one day, and they look to how their leaders lead to determine what they should and should not focus on. So if we're taking a look at aligning values, employee engagement, and overall impact, and we take them one at a time, the best leaders ensure that their values align, 1, with the organization, but 2, how they lead. The best leaders are a part of an organization that they understand, that they feel connected to, and that they truly believe in. And that helps them lead in a way that puts the ways they value themselves and the organization at the forefront. Purpose-driven leadership involves aligning the values of the organization with the personal values of the individuals and creating a sense of purpose that is shared and that enhances the overall well-being of both the employees, the leaders, and of course the organization as a whole. So as leaders are thinking about what drives them, what's most important to them, they're taking a look at what does the organization stand for, and how can they shift anything that is not in alignment to their personal values to ensure that it is in alignment. So if there's an organization that really speaks out about making sure that anything that is not considered inclusive is not connected with the brand of the organization, and this leader is very focused on being an inclusive leader, elevating that messaging is very important. So a leader having that platform and having the organization as the background can continue to ensure that they are elevating the organizational brand while continuing to be an inclusive leader and promoting that the organization is inclusive. On the other side, if the organization is an organization that values presenteeism and that values employees who work around the clock, who leave work at 8 p.m., grab some dinner, come back to the office, whether the office is at home or in the organization's office, and continue to work until midnight while getting up again at 6 a.m. to join a call in a different time zone. And those behaviors are applauded. If that leader is a leader who values being able to eat a meal with their family, exercise, get outside and get some fresh air, getting 7 to 8 hours or even more sleep each night, there is misalignment there. So that leader has the opportunity to make a change in how they lead their team, the message they send to their team, the expectations that they set for their team, and overall have the opportunity to influence how the organization focuses on ensuring that employees are whole and that the work gets done, but that the work gets done optimally while employees are at their best because they had an opportunity to sleep well, eat well, exercise, and focus on the things that help them to show up at work better. So the best leaders aligning their values to the organization will promote an organization that is focused on the right things and will ensure that they are using their power of influence to shift any parts of the organization that does not align with their values. In doing so, they'll role model for the employees why these changes are important. So, as the leader is shifting how the team works and how they work, they are sharing the messaging with their employees and ensuring that the employees understand that an employee who's whole does better work and that the organization and the team benefits in the short term and the long term. Similarly, if an organization is already doing something great, like being inclusive and promoting inclusivity, a leader who really elevates that and encourages their team to do the same will promote inclusivity in the workplace and will help the employees feel more connected and also help them to promote and champion the organization as an inclusive organization. As leaders think about employee engagement, it's important that they are focused on the purpose of employee engagement. Why is it important to have an employee workforce that is engaged? Why is it important to have an employee workforce that when messages are shared, the employees are hungry for that message, they're soaking it up, and employees are also equally eager to give feedback? So, how can leaders ensure that employees are coming to work doing a really good job, but also have a voice in the organization and are also in tune to other voices within the organization? As leaders think about overall employee well-being and overall opportunities for engagement, it's important that they're fostering purpose-driven approaches to the leadership messages that the organization are sending, whether those messages are verbal, in writing, or the unspoken messages that leaders and the organization as a whole is delivering to the employees. So what is the approach to the employee messaging? How are employees being engaged? How do employees get fulfillment and meaning from their work? And how are leaders ensuring that employees are getting meaning from their work and feeling fulfilled? Ultimately, it's important that employees are contributing. They're at work to do a job, but to ensure that the culture overall is a healthy workplace culture and that the employees want to contribute and are not only tied to the organization until the next best thing is available for them. So, how are employees being engaged? How are leaders ensuring that they're fostering that purpose driven approach and they're leading in a way that enhances employee engagement by providing the opportunity for employees to feel seen and heard and for employees to share when there is a disconnect? So, this might look like leaders ensuring that as they're focused on what's happening in the organization, if things are shifting, for example, in generative AI, how can employees voice their concerns about what this means for their role? How can employees voice their concern about what are some of the ways that we're working and how it's potentially causing the team to have divide? And what can leaders do to share with the employees the reasons why their concerns are not valid? Or how can leaders validate employee concerns and provide them with a response that help them to get back to a point of feeling connecting with the organization and also ensuring that they're working in an organization where they're contributing, where they feel positive, where the organization is considered healthy and is contributing to their overall health and well being? Many times when leaders think about overall health and well-being, they think about physical, diet, exercise, sleep, but mental well-being is so important. What are some of the messages that employees are telling themselves about the workplace that might not be true? And how are leaders engaging those employees and giving them an opportunity to share their concerns so that those can be addressed or they can be explained? Leaders who are focused on overall employee engagement will take time to have impromptu conversations with employees as the opportunity arises and will put themselves in places to have direct conversations with employees at various levels throughout the organization and will set up a system that allows employee to feel free to share how they're feeling about and within the organization and will also take the time to respond to those and ensure that employees feel seen and heard and continue to share. The other ways that the best leaders are purpose driven and ensure that they're doing so by elevating employee well being is by making sure that they have an impact. How are the best leaders exploring ways to directly impact the well being of the individuals within the organization? How are they emphasizing the importance of mental, emotional, and physical health in achieving overall professional success, but also personal successes? How are they sharing themselves, how they are taking care of their overall well being, and some of the ways that they were not? So you might have a leader who, for a period of time, they fell off the wagon. They weren't able to get their diet right, their exercise right. They were not sleeping well. And they recognized ways in which it was affecting them mentally, emotionally, physically, but also it was affecting their work. How have they shifted? What are some of the things that they have done differently that allowed them to be able to do so? So a leader might share, I delegated some of the work at home to my spouse. I hired an assistant. I hired cleaners. I asked my mom for help with the children. I actually delegated more work to my direct reports. I started to take my succession plan more seriously and recognize that as I'm working towards developing my successor, I'm also shifting work off my plate and I'm shifting how I work to role model to my next in line some of the best ways that he or she can work. So a leader sharing that they have fallen, but they have found a way with support to get back up will role model to their employees the impact that they can have within the organization by still continuing to protect, promote, and prioritize their own personal well-being. So leaders sharing how when they get more sleep, they're fresher, they're better in the meetings. When they ensure that they are eating right, they're less tired at the end of the day. Their mind feels more fresh. And when they exercise, they have that boost of energy at a certain point in the day, and they're able to write more or put more thought into their agenda. They're able to get to the meeting and deliver a message that's really impactful and that lands well with the overall team. A leader sharing the ways taking care of their mental, emotional, and physical health help them be better at work will role model for employees how they can do the same. Leaders who are not promoting presenteeism and who are not shaming those who are absent or need to take a leave of absence, but they are sharing ways in which it's okay to have a couple of missteps, but it's also okay to prioritize and get back on the bandwagon and get back to focusing on what's most important and how it translates to overall personal and professional well-being will help employees on their team and throughout the organization recognize that it's important and okay to do the same. Everyone wants to be professionally successful. Everyone wants to be personally successful, whatever that means for them. A leader who's recognizing that the ways they achieve success could be similar or different for their employees, but sharing with employees the ways in which they prioritize their well being will help employees do the same. Those leaders will have stronger teams and will have an organization overall that is mentally, emotionally, and financially stable. The best leaders are role models, and the best leaders prioritize well being for themselves and their teams. The best leaders are also driven by a purpose. They ensure that they align their values personally to the organization, that they engage their employees, and that overall the actions that they're taking have an impact on well being and the organization as a whole. Thank you for listening to this week's topic, and I look forward to connecting with you again on the next leadership topic.